Kate Miller tapped her pen against her desk as she stared at the weather data on her computer screen. Something was not right. As a meteorologist at the National Weather Service for 15 years, she had seen plenty of strange weather patterns. But nothing like this. The storm system over the Pacific had formed and disappeared 3 times faster than normal, yet all the physical properties followed natural laws. This had been happening more and more over the past month. She picked up her phone and called her colleague, Steve Wright. Steve, can you look at the Pacific data I just sent you? Tell me I'm not seeing things. Steve was quiet for a moment. This can't be right. I've never seen formation speeds like this. But the pressure gradients and temperature differentials are all following normal physical laws. It's like someone pressed the fast-forward button on nature. That's what I thought too. Kate said, I'm adding it to my presentation for the conference next week. The International Meteorological Conference was held in a large hotel in Chicago. Kate felt nervous as she prepared to present her findings to the room full of weather experts from around the world. When she showed the strange data patterns, the room grew unusually quiet. As you can see, Kate said, pointing to her slides, these weather systems are behaving normally in every way except for their speed of formation and dissipation. They're following all known physical laws, just at an accelerated rate. And this is happening globally, not just in one region. After her presentation, Kate was approached by a tall man in a dark suit who didn't look like the typical weather scientist. Dr. Miller, I'm Frank Barnes. I need to speak with you privately. They found a quiet corner in the hotel lobby. Frank showed her a government ID that Kate had never seen before. I work for a division that doesn't officially exist, he said. Your findings today are very significant, but not for the reasons you think. Kate raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? The timing of these weather anomalies coincides exactly with the arrival of an alien vessel in Earth orbit. Kate stared at him, waiting for him to smile and say he was joking. He didn't? Aliens? You're serious? Frank nodded. They call themselves Zotharians. They've been in contact with world governments for the past month. They're a peaceful research species, but they've made an unusual request. They want to study what they call our weather manipulation technology. But we don't have weather manipulation. Technology, Kate said. Exactly. We've told them that. Multiple times. But they don't believe us. They're convinced humans are being deceptive about our capabilities. 3 days later, Kate found herself on a military aircraft heading to a secret facility in Nevada. Frank sat across from her, along with 5 other scientists from different countries. They were briefed during the flight. The Zotharians are highly analytical beings, Frank explained. They've visited thousands of planets across the galaxy. According to them, no planet has weather as complex and dynamic as Earth's without technological intervention. They simply cannot accept that our weather is natural. The aircraft landed at the facility, and they were escorted to a meeting room. Kate felt her heart racing as the door opened and 3 alien beings entered. They were tall and slender with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer slightly. Their eyes were large and completely black, and they had no visible nose, just small, breathing slits. They wore simple gray garments that looked like they were made of some kind of metallic fabric. One of the aliens stepped forward. I am lead researcher Vexnar. These are my associates, Kyltith and Meslun. His voice was surprisingly human-like, though, with an odd musical quality to it. After introductions were made, they sat around a large table. Kate noticed the aliens moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost unnatural. Vexnar spoke directly to Kate. We have reviewed your recent presentation, Dr. Miller. Your data confirms what we have observed from orbit. Your weather control systems are remarkably sophisticated. Kate exchanged glances with the other scientists. With respect, Vexnar, we don't have weather control systems. Earth's weather is entirely natural. The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. Dr. Miller, there is no need for such deception. We understand the strategic advantage of weather manipulation technology. We merely wish to study it for scientific purposes. Frank leaned forward. Vexnar, I assure you, we are not being deceptive. Earth's weather systems are natural phenomena. Vexnar's large black eyes blinked slowly. In our travels across 12 galaxies, studying over 50,000 inhabitable planets, we have never encountered a world with weather patterns as complex as Earth's without technological intervention. The mathematical probability of such complexity occurring naturally is extremely low. Kate felt a spark of scientific curiosity. Your worlds don't have natural storms like ours? Kyle Tith, the second alien, answered. Most planets have simple, predictable weather patterns. Those with complex systems like yours cause too much destruction to allow civilization to develop naturally. All advanced species we have encountered developed weather control technology early in their history for survival. That's fascinating, Kate said. But Earth's weather, while destructive at times, has never prevented our development. We've adapted to it rather than controlling it. Vexnar made a gesture with his long fingers that seemed dismissive. We request permission to conduct a thorough study of your weather systems up close. We wish to understand how your technology functions while remaining undetectable to our sensors. Frank looked at Kate and the other scientists before responding. We have nothing to hide. You have permission to study our weather, but I'm afraid you'll be disappointed if you're looking for technology. We shall see, Vexnar said. 2 weeks. Later, Kate found herself aboard the Zotharian research vessel orbiting Earth. The ship was enormous, with viewing chambers that allowed her to see her home planet from space for the first time. The blue and white swirls of clouds and oceans took her breath away. Vexnar stood beside her at the viewing window. Your world is quite beautiful, he said. The weather patterns create an ever-changing artwork on your planet's surface. Yes, Kate said, and it's all natural. We will determine that for ourselves, Vexnar replied. We are preparing to send a research team to your surface. We wish to experience these tornadoes you have described. They are particularly difficult to believe as natural phenomena. Kate smiled slightly. I grew up in Oklahoma. I've seen tornadoes my whole life. I can take your team there. Spring is tornado season. If you're lucky, you'll see one up close. Luck will not be necessary, Vexnar said. Only the truth. The small town of Willow Creek, Oklahoma didn't get many visitors, especially not ones from another planet. Kate watched as Vexnar and Kyle Tith stepped out of the black government SUV and looked around at the flat landscape. Their blue skin shimmered in the bright sunlight, and several locals stopped to stare from across the street. This region experiences the highest frequency of these tornado phenomena. Vexnar asked, his black eyes scanning the clear blue sky. Yes, Kate said. This is part of what we call Tornado Alley. In spring, the conditions are perfect for tornado formation. Paul Jackson, a local meteorologist who had been assigned to help the team, joined them. He was a tall man with a friendly face who had studied tornadoes for 20 years. Welcome to Oklahoma, Paul said, extending his hand to the aliens. I've set up a research station about 10 miles outside of town where you can deploy your equipment. Kyle Tith looked at Paul's hand for a moment before remembering the human greeting custom. He extended his long 6-fingered hand and shook Paul's. Thank you, Kyle Tith said. We are eager to begin our analysis. The research station was a simple building on a high piece of land with a good view of the surrounding plains. The Zotharians unloaded several metallic cases from their transport and began setting up equipment unlike anything Kate or Paul had ever seen. Some devices floated in the air without any visible means of support. Others expanded from small boxes into complex arrays of sensors and screens. This technology will allow us to detect energy signatures from your weather control systems, Vexnar explained. Kate sighed. As we've told you, there are no control systems defined. Vexnar made a gesture that Kate had come to recognize as the alien equivalent of a dismissive wave. We shall see. For 3 days, they monitored the weather patterns. The Zatharian equipment hummed and blinked, collecting data. Paul gave the aliens detailed explanations of how tornadoes form, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico colliding with cool, dry air from the Rockies, the effect of the jet stream, wind shear, and the Coriolis effect from Earth's rotation. Kyle Tith listened with interest, asking thoughtful questions, while Vexnar seemed increasingly irritated. On the 4th day, Paul's weather radar showed promising conditions for tornado formation. Dark clouds began to gather in the west, and the air felt heavy with moisture. There's a strong storm system developing, Paul said, pointing to his laptop screen. The conditions are perfect for supercell formation. We might see a tornado today. Vexnar's equipment began to emit a series of rapid beeps. Energy patterns are changing rapidly in the atmosphere, he said. That's natural, Kate explained. The temperature differentials are creating powerful updrafts. As they watched, the sky darkened. The wind picked up, and rain began to fall in heavy sheets. Paul's radar showed a hook echo forming, the classic sign of a possible tornado. There, Paul pointed to the southwest. Watch that cloud formation. The clouds were rotating, slowly at first, then faster. The Zatharians watched in silence as the funnel began to form, reaching down from the dark clouds toward the ground. When it touched down about 2 miles away, Kyle Tith made a sound Kate had never heard before, something between a gasp and a musical note. Fascinating, Kyle Tith whispered. The tornado moved across the empty fields, kicking up dirt and debris. It wasn't a large one, perhaps an F2, on the Fujita scale, but it was clearly visible from their position. Vexnar frantically checked his equipment. I detect no energy signatures consistent with technology, he said, his voice rising slightly. This makes no sense, because it's natural, Kate said gently. Impossible, Vexnar insisted. The complexity of this weather pattern exceeds what should be possible in an uncontrolled system. Your civilization must have developed technology beyond our detection capabilities. The tornado dissipated after about 10 minutes, leaving a path of torn-up soil across the fields. No buildings had been damaged. As soon as it was safe, Vexnar insisted they visit the path of the tornado to collect samples and readings, standing. In the field where the tornado had passed, Kyle Tith ran a small device over the disturbed earth. There are no technological residues, he said to Vexnar. No energy patterns consistent with artificial manipulation. Check again, Vexnar ordered. Kate and Paul exchanged glances. It was becoming clear that Vexnar was not going to be easily convinced. Over the next week, they witnessed 2 more tornadoes. Each time, the Zatharian equipment detected nothing artificial. After the 3rd tornado, a powerful F4 that tore through an uninhabited area, Kyle Tith approached Kate while Vexnar was busy with his readings. I am beginning to think we may have made an incorrect assumption, Kyle Tith said quietly. The data consistently shows no artificial manipulation. That's what we've been trying to tell you, Kate said. Earth's weather is naturally complex. You must understand, Kyle Tith explained. This contradicts everything we know about planetary physics. On our homeworld and every other inhabited world we have studied, weather follows simple, predictable patterns. When it doesn't, it is, because the species living there has developed technology to control it. Different planets, different rules, Paul said with a shrug. Earth has always been this way. Kyle Tith seemed thoughtful. Perhaps that is why your species has developed such resilience and adaptability. You have evolved alongside these chaotic systems. Later that evening, as they reviewed the day's data, Vexnar made an announcement. We must expand our research. These tornadoes are just one type of weather phenomenon. We need to study your hurricanes and other extreme weather events before reaching conclusions. That means we need to head to the coast, Paul said. Hurricane season is just beginning in the Atlantic. Then we shall go there, Vexnar declared. I am not convinced your weather is natural. The mathematical probability is too low. There must be technology we are not detecting. Kate noticed Kyle Tith exchange a look with Meslun, the junior researcher who had remained mostly silent during their time in Oklahoma. Something was changing in the alien team's dynamics. As they packed up the equipment, Kate received a call from Frank Barnes. How's it going with our visitors? Frank asked. Mixed results, Kate replied. Vexnar is still convinced we're hiding something, but I think Kyle Teeth is starting to accept the truth. We're heading to Florida next to show them hurricanes. Keep at it, Frank said. The president is getting regular updates. The scientific community is very interested in what the Zotharians might share with us once they accept our weather is natural. If they ever do, Kate said, watching Vexnar meticulously checking his readings again. Some people or aliens just hate being wrong. The research team set up their equipment on a beach in Florida. The ocean stretched out before them, blue and calm for now, but weather satellites showed a tropical storm forming hundreds of miles offshore. The storm was strengthening in might. Become a hurricane within days. Kate and Paul helped the Zotharians position their monitoring devices along the shoreline. Kyle Tith had become more friendly over the past week, asking questions about human culture and history. Vexnar remained focused only on the weather investigation. Your species has lived with these hurricanes for your entire history? Kyle Tith asked as they worked. Yes, Kate replied. Ancient civilizations had myths about storm gods because they didn't understand the science. But hurricanes have always been part of life on Earth. Meslun, the youngest Zotharian researcher, who had been quiet during most of their time in Oklahoma, joined the conversation. I have been studying your historical weather records. They show these weather patterns existed long before your species developed advanced technology. Exactly, Paul said. We've had written records of hurricanes for hundreds of years, and evidence of them in geological records going back thousands. Vexnar looked up from his equipment. Those records could be falsified. Kate tried not to show her frustration. Why would we do that? What would be the point? To protect your weather control technology from other species, Vexnar said, as if it were obvious. That evening, as they ate dinner at their beachfront research station, Kyle Tith sat next to Kate. The Zotharians had been sampling human food, finding some of it compatible with their biology. I wish to share something with you, Kyle Tith said quietly. On our homeworld, we developed weather control technology over 10,000 of your Earth years ago. It was necessary for our survival. Our original planet had simple but extreme weather. Cycles that caused mass casualties every season. I'm sorry to hear that, Kate said. Every advanced species we have encountered did the same, Kyle Tith continued. It is considered one of the first steps of technological advancement for any intelligent species. That is why Vexnar cannot accept that your weather is natural. It contradicts everything we know about civilization development. Different planets, different paths, Kate said. Humans adapted to our weather rather than controlling it. We built stronger buildings, developed warning systems, and learned to predict dangerous weather. Over the next 3 days, they monitored the tropical storm as it grew into Hurricane Lara. The Zotharian equipment tracked it from formation to landfall with incredible precision. They measured wind speeds, barometric pressure, temperature, gradients, and dozens of other factors Kate didn't even recognize. When the outer bands of the hurricane began to reach the coast, The team moved to a secure inland facility to continue their observations. The power of the storm was impressive, even from a distance. Trees bent in the wind, and rain fell in sheets so thick it was hard to see through them. As the eye of the hurricane passed near their location, Meslon made an announcement to the team. I have completed my analysis. There is no evidence of technological intervention in this weather system. Its formation and behavior follow natural physical laws, just at a scale and complexity we have not observed on other planets. Vexnar's eyes narrowed. Your analysis is incomplete. With respect, lead researcher, Meslon said, I have applied every detection method in our scientific protocols. The storm is natural. Kyle Tith nodded in agreement. I have reached the same conclusion. The data is consistent across all our observations, from tornadoes to this hurricane. Earth's weather, while extraordinarily complex, appears to be a natural phenomenon. Vexnar was silent for a long moment. I must consult with our ship. This finding will need verification. After Vexnar left the room, Kyle Tith turned to Kate and Paul. This is unprecedented in our research history. A planet with naturally occurring weather of this complexity challenges our understanding of planetary physics. What makes Earth's weather so special compared to other planets? Paul asked. Most habitable planets have simpler systems, Meslon explained. Their atmospheres, oceans, and land masses interact in more predictable ways. Some have no large bodies of water. Others have multiple moons that stabilize their rotation and weather patterns. Many have thinner atmospheres or more uniform surface temperatures. Earth exists in what we might call a chaotic balance, Kyle Tith added. Your large moon, your oceans, your planet's tilt and rotation speed, the distribution of your continents, they all combine to create conditions where complex weather can exist while still maintaining habitability. Our simulations predicted such a balance was mathematically possible, but we had never observed it. Over the next week, the Zatharians expanded their research across the globe. They sent teams to study monsoons in India, blizzards in Antarctica, and dust storms in Australia. Kate and Paul coordinated with local weather experts in each location, helping the aliens gather data on all of Earth's diverse weather systems. Each team reported the same findings. No evidence of technological intervention. Earth's weather, in all its variety and power, was entirely natural. When all the teams reconvened at the secret facility in Nevada, Vexnar finally called a meeting. His demeanor had changed. He seemed less rigid, almost humbled. I have received authorization from our Science Council to share our findings, Vexnar announced. After extensive analysis, we must acknowledge that Earth's weather systems are, indeed, natural phenomena. Kate and Paul exchanged satisfied glances. Frank Barnes, who had joined them for this meeting, nodded with approval. However, Vexnar continued, this discovery raises new questions. We request permission to bring our most advanced analytical supercomputer to Earth to study how such complex natural weather systems could evolve and sustain themselves. I think that can be arranged, Frank said later, as they waited for the arrival of the Zatharian supercomputer. Kate found Kyle Tith looking at weather radar images on a screen. You know, Kate said, for us this was never in question. We've always known our weather was natural. That is what makes this discovery so remarkable, Kyle Tith replied. Your species never questioned what seemed impossible to us. Perhaps there are many things in the universe we think we understand, but do not. That's the beauty of science, Kate said. Being wrong teaches us more than being right. Kyle Tith made a sound that Kate now recognized as laughter. Vexnar would not agree with that sentiment, but I do. Your Earth has much to teach us, and not just about weather. The arrival of the Zatharian supercomputer drew a small crowd of Earth scientists who had been cleared for the project. The machine, if it could be called that, didn't look like any computer Kate had ever seen. It was a sphere about 6 feet across, floating a few inches above the ground with a swirling, iridescent surface that seemed to shift between various shades of blue and purple. "This is our most advanced analytical system," Vexnar explained, as technicians made final adjustments. "It can process more data in 1 Earth minute than all your planet's computers combined could in a year." Kate wasn't sure if that was an exaggeration or not, but she was impressed regardless. The supercomputer had been set up in a large hangar at the Nevada facility. Around it were screens displaying weather data from around the world, collected over the past month by Zafarian teams. "What exactly will it do?" Paul asked. "It will analyze every variable in Earth's weather system simultaneously," Kyle Tiff explained. "Air currents, ocean temperatures, solar radiation, planetary rotation, magnetic fields, land mass distribution, atmospheric composition, everything that might influence your weather patterns." Vexnar approached the sphere and placed his 6-fingered hand on its surface. The swirling colors responded to his touch, flowing around his hand like water. He spoke a few words in the Zatharian language, and the sphere began to glow brighter. "The analysis has begun," Vexnar announced. "It will take approximately 24 of your Earth hours to complete." While they waited, Kate and Paul gave the Zatharian team a tour of the National Weather Service's Prediction Center, which had been temporarily relocated to the Nevada facility for this project. The aliens were fascinated by how humans had developed ways to predict and adapt to weather rather than control it. "Your early warning systems for tornadoes have saved many lives," Meslon observed. "Yes, but they're not perfect," Kate said. "We usually have only minutes of warning time. We're always working to improve that." The next day, they all gathered around the supercomputer. The sphere was now pulsing with light, and the screens around it displayed complex equations and models that Kate couldn't begin to understand. Vexnar studied the results with Kyle Tiff and the other Zatharian scientists. They spoke quickly in their own language, occasionally pointing to different screens. Finally, Vexnar turned to face the humans. "Our analysis is complete," he said. His voice had lost the dismissive tone it had carried for weeks. "Earth's weather systems are indeed natural phenomena. The supercomputer confirms that all observed weather patterns on your planet follow physical laws without technological intervention." Frank Arn smiled. "I'm glad we could finally convince you." "More than that," Kyle Tiff added, "we have discovered something remarkable. Earth exists in what we now call a planetary harmonic state, a rare condition where chaotic systems create a dynamic balance that actually enhances planetary habitability rather than threatening it." Meslun stepped forward, excitement clear in his voice. "Your storms distribute heat and moisture more efficiently than the stable weather systems on other planets. Your oceans and atmosphere work together to moderate temperatures across your world. Even your more extreme weather events serve ecological purposes." "In simple terms," Vexnar said, "your planet's natural chaos is actually beneficial to life. This contradicts our previous understanding of what makes a planet hospitable." Kate was surprised to see Vexnar looking almost excited. The lead researcher had been so certain that Earth's weather couldn't be natural that she had expected him to be disappointed by the supercomputer's findings. "This changes how we view planetary development," Vexnar continued. "For thousands of years, our science has focused on controlling and stabilizing planetary systems. We now must consider that some forms of natural chaos may be beneficial or even necessary." Later that evening, as Kate was reviewing some of the data the supercomputer had generated, Vexnar approached her. He seemed hesitant, which was unusual for the normally confident alien. "Dr. Miller," he said, "I must acknowledge that I was incorrect in my assessment of Earth's weather. I allowed my preconceptions to influence my scientific judgment. That happens to all scientists sometimes, Kate replied. The important thing is that you are willing to test your theories and accept new evidence. Yes, Vexnar agreed. Though, it took longer than it should have. In our culture, being wrong is seen as a significant failure. But perhaps that view itself is wrong. Science is all about being wrong, Kate said with a smile. Every hypothesis that fails teaches us something new. That's how we make progress. Vexnar made the musical sound that Kate now recognized as Etherian laughter. A refreshing perspective. I can see why your species has adapted so well to a chaotic world. The next morning, Frank Barnes called a meeting with the entire research team. Government officials from several countries joined by video conference. The Zatharian Science Council has made an official request, Frank announced. They wish to designate Earth as a natural weather laboratory and continue studying our weather systems long term. This designation comes with certain benefits. Vexnar added, planets with unique scientific value receive special status in galactic protocols. This would include protection against any interference from other species who might visit your solar system in the future. Additionally, Kyle Tiff said, we would like to offer a technological exchange. While we now understand that your weather is natural and should remain so, we can provide advanced prediction technology that would help you prepare for extreme weather events. The government officials looked pleased with this offer. Better prediction of hurricanes, tornadoes, and other dangerous weather could save thousands of lives every year. How much advance warning could your technology provide for something like a tornado? Paul asked. With our sensors and prediction algorithms, you could have warnings up to 2 hours before formation, Meslan said. For hurricanes, accurate. Path prediction up to 10 days in advance. Kate tried to imagine how many lives could be saved with that kind of warning time. It would transform disaster preparedness around the world. There's something else, Vexnar said. News of Earth's unique weather has spread throughout the galactic scientific community. Your planet is becoming known as the Storm World, a living laboratory of natural weather dynamics. You should expect more scientific delegations to request permission to study your weather in the coming years. Frank looked at Kate and smiled. Looks like you might have a new career as an interstellar weather tour guide, Dr. Miller. Kate laughed. From studying weather to explaining it to aliens. Not exactly what I planned when I got my degree in meteorology. The universe is full of surprises, Kyle Tiff said. Much like your weather. 6 months had passed since the Zatharians first arrived on Earth. The small town of Willow Creek, Oklahoma, had changed in ways no one could have imagined. A gleaming research center now stood at the edge of town, its unusual architecture marking it as clearly non-human in design. Scientists from around the world worked alongside Zatharian researchers, studying the weather patterns that had once seemed so ordinary to the locals. Kate walked through the main research hall, now filled with both human and alien technology. Screens displayed weather data from across the globe, and three-dimensional holograms showed storm systems forming and dissipating in real time. Paul was giving a tour to a new group of Zatharian scientists who had just arrived from their homeworld. As you can see, Paul was saying, the cold front moving down from Canada is creating ideal conditions for supercell formation in this region. Using your prediction algorithms combined with our ground radar, we can now identify potential tornado formation nearly 2 hours before it happens. Kyle Tiff, who had been appointed as the permanent lead researcher after Vexnar's return to their homeworld, approached Kate with a data tablet. The new satellite network is fully operational, Kyle Tiff said. We can now monitor ocean temperatures and currents with unprecedented accuracy. Hurricane prediction has improved by 87%. The impact has been incredible, Kate replied. Last month, we evacuated the Gulf Coast 3 days before Hurricane Marcus made landfall. Not a single life was lost. The technological exchange had benefited both species. Humans gained advanced weather prediction capabilities, while the Zatharians gained new insights into natural planetary systems. Earth had become famous throughout the galaxy as the Storm World, a rare planet where complex weather existed naturally in a dynamic balance. Frank Barnes entered the research hall, accompanied by several government officials and a new Zatharian Kate hadn't met before. The alien wore elaborate silver markings on his blue skin that the others didn't have. "Dr. Miller," Frank called out, "I'd like you to meet Ambassador Learvok from the Galactic Council." Kate shook the ambassador's 6-fingered hand. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador." "Thank you, Dr. Miller," Learvok said. "Your work with our scientists has caused quite a sensation in the galactic community. I have come to formally present Earth with its designation as a protected natural wonder." Later that day, a ceremony was held in Washington, D.C., broadcast to the entire world. For the first time, most of Earth's population saw the Zatharians as Ambassador Learvok presented the official designation to the United Nations Secretary General. "This designation," the ambassador explained, "ensures that Earth will be protected from any outside interference that might disrupt its natural systems. Your world is now recognized as a unique scientific treasure within our galaxy." After the ceremony, Kate found herself in a small reception with Paul, Frank, and the Zatharian researchers they had worked with over the past months. "I never thought studying tornadoes would lead to this," Paul said, shaking his head in wonder. "It's only the beginning," Kyle Tith told them. "The Galactic Science Academy has approved funding for a century-long study of Earth's weather patterns. We believe there is much more to learn from your world." "A century?" Kate asked. "That's a long research project." "For my species, it is not so long," Kyle Tith said. "And what we learn here may help us restore natural weather systems on planets where they have been artificially controlled for millennia." Frank Barnes joined their conversation. "There's something else you should know," he said to Kate and Paul. "The Zatharians have extended an invitation for Earth scientists to join their next research expedition." Kate looked at Kyle Tith in surprise. "To study other planets?" "Yes," Kyle Tith confirmed. "We have identified several worlds that may have the potential for natural weather complexities similar to Earth's. We would value your perspective as we study them." "Basically," Frank said with a smile, "they want to know if human meteorologists can spot natural weather patterns that their scientists might miss, given their different perspectives." Kate felt a surge of excitement. When she became a meteorologist, she never imagined she would one day study weather on alien planets. When would this expedition begin? 3 months from now, Kyle Tith said. "We would be honored if you and Dr. Jackson would consider joining us." 2 weeks later, Kate stood on the observation deck of the Zatharian research vessel, looking down at Earth from orbit. The swirling clouds and blue oceans of her home planet were even more beautiful than she remembered from her first trip to Space. Vexnar stood beside her. The former lead researcher had returned to Earth specifically to see Kate and Paul off on their expedition. His attitude had changed dramatically since their first meeting. He now seemed genuinely curious rather than skeptical. "Your world is truly remarkable," Vexnar said. "In all my years of research, I never expected to have my fundamental assumptions so completely challenged." "That's the beauty of science," Kate replied. "It keeps surprising us." "Indeed," Vexnar agreed. "For thousands of years, our civilization believed that progress meant controlling nature. We thought that any advanced species would naturally follow the same path. Your Earth has taught us otherwise." "What will you do now?" Kate asked. "You're not joining our expedition?" "No," Vexnar said. "I am returning to our homeworld to establish a new research division focused on restoring natural weather systems. For too long, we have controlled our planet's climate through technology. Perhaps there are benefits to allowing some natural patterns to return. Paul joined them on the observation deck. The captain says we're ready to depart, he said. Next. Stop, the Proxima Centauri system. As Kate took one last look at Earth before their departure, she thought about how much had changed in less than a year. Humanity now knew they weren't alone in the universe. They had gained incredible new technology and knowledge. And all because some alien scientists refused to believe that Earth's weather was natural. Something amusing, Dr. Miller? Kyle Tith asked, noticing her smile. I was just thinking about how we met, Kate replied. You came to study our weather because you thought it was artificial. Now you're taking us to study other planets because you value our experience with natural weather patterns. The universe often works in unexpected ways, Kyle Tith said. Like your weather. The ship's engines hummed to life as they prepared to leave Earth's orbit. Kate felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about the journey ahead. She was about to become one of the first humans to visit another star system, all because she understood the science of storms. As Earth grew smaller in the viewing port, Vexnor made his parting comment. Your species adapted to the chaos of your world rather than trying to control it. Perhaps that is why you see possibilities where others see only problems. That perspective may be your greatest contribution to galactic science. Kate watched as her blue planet became a small dot, and then disappeared from view. The journey to new worlds had begun.